The topic of this segment is absolutely appalling. A local TV station, Fox 45 News, analyzed Baltimore City Public School for test results. It's part of local station's series called Project Baltimore. Baltimore test results show that in 23 Baltimore public schools, not one student is reaching the required math level. The local station looked at all ages, elementary schools, middle schools, and even high schools. Not one student is performing at his or her grade level. Stunning, isn't it? Well, in 2022, according to the Maryland Comprehensive Assessment Program state results, the city of Baltimore's math scores were the lowest in the state. Parents are frustrated and looking for other affordable options for their children's education. Frankly, and this is just my opinion, Maryland's failure is cruel to the children and their parents. Davida Allen joins me. She's a Baltimore mother of three. One son is currently in the public school system. One has graduated, and her daughter is in private school. Davida, I'm practically unglued about this. Is that you can't go to school, you can't go to a public school in Baltimore. And by the way, Baltimore is the fourth highest funded school system per pupil in the United States in major cities. And you've got those numbers. What do you say?
I'm outraged. I'm frustrated. I'm annoyed. And right now, my mission is to just advocate for these kids and hold administrators accountable. Our system gets $1.6 billion a year, and 0 is a really strong number. And it's unacceptable, and it needs to be fixed.
It's not new, though. I mean, first of all, is that anyone who takes a train from Washington, New York, sees that, that Baltimore has really been left behind. But I know that this is funded by the city. But, I hold your state representatives accountable to Governor Larry Hogan. He's not in office anymore, but he's in office from 2015 to 2023. What did he do to try to help the private schools, the public schools in Baltimore? Is anybody doing anything?
I don't know, to be honest. At first, they want to say, oh, the numbers are down because of COVID. And I say, no, you can't say that, because this is something that's been happening for decades. This is something where you have parents who say the schools were bad when they were in school and when their parents were in school. I think that not only am I holding my state officials, but also my local officials, people who are appointing people to these school boards, everybody needs to be held accountable. And I think that as a parent, sometimes you hear these officials say, well, it's the parents' fault. Well, I'm an active parent. My husband and I, we are active. I was on PTO. We're involved. So you can't always say that that's the issue. The schools are I don't know if they need to change the programs. I don't know if it's more resources. And I really want to say it's more resources that need to be allocated.
Okay, first of all, that the business about that it's COVID, well, if that's true, then every school system in this country should be at 0. Every school, if it's COVID. Exactly. So that's a big fat lie. All right, now, here's an example of how money is spent. You see this? This is like an incredible, we got this. It says they spent all this money putting all these records and all this stuff together instead of education. This is the Baltimore City Public Schools 2022-2023 budget. And it is stunning that they're spending all these money on these graphs and everything else. You've got commissioners, you've got a whole, you've got Meet the Commissioners, you've got a website talking about all the commissioners who are going to help the Baltimore schools, and it's 0. 0. I don't know how anybody sleeps at night who's part of this system. That's unfair to you, unfair to the children. It's unfair to the rest of us, because we want your kids to learn.
It's unfair, and I think that I worry about the kids. Like, we're pulling our son out of the school. Our son was on, his school was one of the 23. He's in the first grade. So we're pulling him out. But we're fortunate to be able to afford to put him into a private school. But I worry about the kids whose parents can't put their kids into private school. I went to public school in New York from K through 8th grade. And then I went into private school, but it shouldn't have to be a requirement. And I think for our home, where we're even more frustrated is we tried charter schools also. And for our oldest son, we had him in a charter school. And although he's brilliant, he's intelligent, he decided he didn't want to do the work. So I requested for him to be held back. I said, hold him back, make him accountable. And they told us no, flat out. no, it's going to be bad for him socially. So I think about all those kids who are testing 0%, and I'm like, okay, they're testing 0%, you're still passing them along, and then what happens?
They're testing at 0 because they're not being taught. They're not dumb kids. They're not being taught. I mean, it's just, and it's, and you know, it is so gross. And I got to go, but I beg of you, Davida, even though you're taking your child out, do not give up on those other children. Do not give up. And shame on Baltimore and everybody else and all them. I mean, of statistics, how much money they're getting from different places. It is nothing short of criminal what's going on there. I told you, Davida, I was unglued about this one, and I am. So, Davida, please stick with this one, all right?
Thank you.
Thank you.